What's going on, everybody? Hey, thank you so much for coming in. We are here live on the Chirp City Media NHL post-game show. We're doing live post-game, pre- and post-game shows throughout the playoffs. Here we go. Day 3 of the Stanley Cup playoffs is finally over. Our first day of Game 2s from our Monday games. And boy, what a day it was. Tons of crazy stuff to get to here in this post-game show. Crazy hockey to talk about here. Maddie, how are we feeling after a day 2 of these games?
Tired.
Yeah, dude, for real. This is getting like exhausting going every day. I gotta tell you, but it's a grind. We're growing. We're growing the brand. It's a grind. We just gotta keep firing it off and get better each day here. So, all right, we'll make it quick. We'll move along here. We'll start with the Panthers and the Bruins. Panthers winning 6-3. Totally different look for the Panthers tonight. Totally, I thought they were very, very dominant at times, moving the puck really well. Just winning battles, making Boston look like ass. Which, like I said it from the beginning, I thought this was going to be Boston's toughest team to play against. I think the Panthers, they were hot coming in. Um, they looked good getting into the playoffs. I thought they were going to give Boston a run for their money. I said in game 1. You watch that second and third period in game 1, and the Panthers really controlled a lot of that play, and it just carried over into tonight. They had a 5-2 lead. I know, we had Taylor Hall getting one late in the third there, make it 6-3, but at that point it was pretty much over. We look at it here. Let's see, Boston went 1 for 4 on the power play tonight. Panthers 0 for 3. I mean, obviously, there's some concern there. The Panthers being 0 for 3 on the power play. Nothing again from Barkov, I believe, tonight. Barkov was, again, quiet. But overall, I thought the Panthers were just a better team. They finally got to Allmark. They were breaking through, getting chances. I knew Boston was in trouble when Eric Stahl here in the second period scored with an absolute muffin of a shot. I think they clocked it at like 63 miles per hour, just a total muffin. Like, have to make that save. No save from Allmark. Boston just didn't look good. I'll throw it over to you, Maddie, for your thoughts. What did you think watching the game tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I think we said it pretty clearly uh last time they played. Like, Panthers are just faster and they're more consistent. Like, they're more trying to think of the right word here. They got more stamina.
Yeah. Yeah,
In
I
layman's
think.
terms.
Listen, I know you hear it a lot because you and I talk a lot of sports throughout the year, and I was like, look, Boston, a total historic season, unbelievable year. You can't take that away from them, but eventually, I do feel that eventually the age factor will catch up to Boston. The age will be there. You'll start to feel tired. Your first and second lines are you're gonna keep going and running those lines, and they're gonna get exhausted. And I think tonight you really kind of saw like the Panthers were getting the first goal, obviously with Sam Bennett here, and they just took it to him the whole night. They were bringing it. Boston did answer back. They made it 2-2 at the end of the second, and then in the third period, it just kind of seemed like right off the jump in the third, the Panthers were like, "Listen, this is our game. We're gonna steal this game," and they just outplayed them in the third period overall. Brandon Montour, defenseman, with 2 goals. And Brandon Montour, huge pickup. I believe he was a massive pickup in the offseason from the Calgary Flames, and he brought it. So great win from the Panthers, 6-3 final in Game 2, heading back to Sunrise, Florida. Very excited to see what happens there. I think the Panthers are going to make the Bruins earn it. I don't think this is going to be a push-around series at all. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in Game 3 in Sunrise. Any final thoughts for that game, Matty?
Yeah, I mean, just like the age thing is like it's becoming more and more apparent. You see in the first period they went 0-0. Second period 2-2. Like, they're staying with them, and then that third period 4-1.
Right.
Like, if you can compete the first 2 periods and then you're dead tired that third period, sorry, but you knock out the first 2 goals and they still win this game.
Yeah.
They don't score at all the first two periods, and the Panthers still win. You know,
Right.
you can't give up more goals in one period than you score in the entire game.
Yeah, especially in the third frame, you can't get outplayed like that. It's when the third period is when big things happen, and Boston just they lost control of it. They were getting all mark pucks in deep. They were winning battles. The Florida was winning battles, and overall just outplayed Boston tonight. So we'll see what happens in Game 3. I think for sure once Game 3 comes, Bergeron will be in the lineup. I know that he's been battling an illness, and then obviously the previous upper body injury that he's been shaking off since the regular season. I think come Game 3 he'll definitely be in the lineup for sure. All right. Next game we're gonna go to is Islanders Hurricanes, and boy, I'm so excited to talk about this game. Jay, I see you in chat. Islanders couldn't get it done. Well, hold on. Listen to this. Listen to this. What happened here? I'm gonna see if I could get a video going while I talk about this. So Islanders lose 4-3 in overtime. And let me tell you, this game was wildly entertaining. Like, it was back and forth the whole game. It was 2-0 Carolina. They came out, opened up the scoring early. They were bringing it to them. The Islanders came back. Kyle Palmieri with a huge goal, really changing the pace. And then obviously Barzal scoring late in the second period, tied at 2-2 going into the third. And then, you have Brock Nelson. They take the lead 3-2. Jacob Slavin, unbelievable going short side, right over the shoulder into the back of the net. Great goal from the sideboards. And then they tie it 3-3. So it goes to overtime. Now, this has been a whole battle, the whole game. And it was, hold on here. It was a consistent battle the whole game. And right here is the game-changing call that changed everything. Right here in overtime. So I'm gonna bring it in here. With our Thanks to Tough Call on YouTube for the video here. I'm gonna carry it over so you guys can see, and watch this call here. So right here, you're gonna watch this guy right here swings his stick, hits Brandon Montour right in the face. It leads to the OT goal. Jesper Foss with the OT goal. Now watch once they show the replay and you see. So here's Mayfield. This guy right here swings his stick, hits him right in the mouth. He's bleeding from the mouth. He's taken completely out of the play. He swings his stick here, hits him right in the mouth there. Completely out of the play. That's one of your defensemen. Completely taken out of the play. The ref right there completely misses the call. Right? So right there, it should have been a high stick, play dead, 4-minute penalty. Islanders go on their first power play of the game. No power play chances the entire game. But instead, what happens? They completely botch the call, completely miss it, and then Jesper Foss picks it up on a turnover in the neutral zone. That defenseman's already taken out of the play because he's bleeding out of the mouth, and they score a goal. Like, the Islanders got completely hosed. There's no two buts about it. You can't say that, oh, well, that's not, like, it was completely a total botch of a call. I don't know how you don't make that call there. It's really unbelievable. Islanders out hitting them 54-28. The Islanders really played well. Like, honestly, I was watching the game. The Islanders picked up the pace. They brought it to them. They were aggressive. They were dominating in portions of that game. They were really taking it to the Canes in their offensive zone. They were really dominating, and unfortunately, the Canes tied it up there. And then it goes to overtime. You've yet to have a power play. Right here, you circle right here. 0 power plays. They had no power plays. The Canes went 1 for 6 on the power play tonight. The Isles penalty kill played great. You hold the team 1 for 6. That's a game you should win. You hold the Carolina 1 for 6 on the power play. You don't get a single power play opportunity right there. Your guy gets hit in the face. It should be a 4-minute penalty. You should be going on the power play in overtime. You don't get the call. You get hosed. They turn the puck over in the neutral zone. One defenseman's taken out of play. Foss scores, and they lose. So unbelievable no call. I can't believe it. I had the Islanders winning tonight, and they totally got fucked. I'll throw it over to you, Maddie. I don't know what your thoughts are, but I can't believe they didn't make that call. Total hose job for the Islanders there.
I mean, damn, you just said everything. I mean, yeah,
Like it's just
Both teams. I mean, the Islanders did exactly what they needed to do. They came out fast and strong. Uh, you know, we said in the pregame show that they needed to be way more physical.
hmm
And I mean, they were. They had 54 hits compared to the Carolina's 28. So I mean, they made a game of it. They did make a game of it.
I mean, I think if the Islanders continue to play that way throughout the series, they're going to make the series competitive. I feel so bad because we're talking about the Islanders, and we're like, what could they do differently? And it's like, you got like it's unreal how hosed they got. Like, I'm really just so shocked how, as an NHL referee in the playoff game with a team who is yet to get a power play opportunity the whole game, like they haven't gotten a call the whole game, and he gets whacked right in the mouth, right in front of you. You're standing right there, and you don't call that? Like, I don't understand how that happens in a big time playoff game to tie the series 1-1 going back home. Now you're down 0-2. Now you got to, like, now these home games, like, take up a whole nother level. Like, fuck, we can't get swept here. We got to get this done. Like, that game 3 is going to be so intense on the island. Like, it's going to be insane to watch. I see your comments, Jay. Like, it's really, you have no idea what was going on there and how he missed that call. Like, I am hoping that the league, calls that referee and is like, what the hell happened there? Like, suspends him. Like, I feel like that referee should get a suspension. I don't know how that happens. Like, you're standing right there. Like, if the referee was on the other side of the ice and you miss the call, you're on the other side of the ice, you're facing the opposite way of the player, and you just don't see it. But for you to be standing or skating backwards right in front of what happened, no call, and then they turn the puck right there and come in and score is just, it's bananas. Like, I don't understand how that happens. I mean, has something like that ever happened, like in soccer, where somebody gets kicked in the mouth and then they're like, oh, like, no big deal, like, carry on, like, and then they
All the
score?
time.
Like,
All the time.
I can't, like, I'm watching that, and I can't believe that ref hosed that call so bad. It really is unbelievable. And I'm not even an Islanders fan, but as somebody who's like a hockey fan, and you see a great game, and you see, like, the Islanders are bringing it to this team, and it's like, oh no, you're gonna get hosed, and you're all set. We'll see on the island down 0-2. It's just
Well,
crazy.
on the topic of like it happening in like other sports. Now I'm not fully aware of how hockey works in terms of this, but I know in a lot of sports the intention plays a lot into giving a call.
Mm,
Uh, like whether it was an intentional or not
right.
hit to the face.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that play, and clearly his back's turned. He's facing the puck going up the boards. But I mean, something that they teach you. I know they even teach you in youth hockey, and then they obviously teach it in the pros and stuff. You have to control your stick. Like, you just have to control your stick. You can't, be swinging your stick around in the air like, no fucks. Like, you have to control your stick. And he swung it around his body and like a bat, and just hit him right in the mouth. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, I could not believe that happened, and they got no call. They not one power play opportunity in the whole game. So it's really unbelievable finish to that game. But overall, I thought the Islanders played well. I think if they play like that, game 3, they're going to have a good chance of winning back on the island. The island is a tough place to play. It was loud in Raleigh. It's going to be loud in Long Island and at Belmont Park. So we'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to watching game 3. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Any final thoughts on that game, Matt? I mean, what did you see? Do you think the Islanders look
Yes,
their
and
A?
I said it last night. Consistency.
Yeah.
You know, I think the teams that can, consistently perform like the Hurricanes. I know we're talking about there was a lot of bad calls and no power plays on for the Islanders. But, a goal in every period.
Yep.
The OT score to win. But that's exactly what I'm saying. If you can consistently score, even if you're scoring once a period,
hmm
it's winning games.
Yeah, I think
So,
for sure, no doubt that the Hurricanes played well. I mean, the Hurricanes played well, and unfortunately, they lost Teuvo Teravainen, one of their top guys. Teuvo Teravainen is going to be out for the rest of the playoffs. Actually, they said that he might be able to come back late conference finals, maybe the Stanley Cup final if they get there. But he shattered a bone in his hand. He's getting surgery I believe actually as we speak. He's getting surgery to try to rehab it and come back and play. But it's going to be tough with a broken hand, especially I believe it's his bottom hand on a stick where he gets the power to shoot the puck. So that's tough to come back from. But I mean, we'll see what happens. Hockey, these guys grind it out. We saw last night with the guy getting 75 stitches above his eye, bleeding out of his eye, and he gets back out there for the next shift. So these guys, they freaking put their bodies through it to try to get the win. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I think the Hurricanes are a very consistent team. They play well. They move the puck around well, and they're consistently getting pucks to the net and getting goals. So we'll see what happens in Game 3. I'm excited for the series to shift over to the island, and we'll see what happens there. Game 2 now in Dallas. 7-3, Stars win. Just all around dominance. I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, right off the rip, they scored in the first 5 minutes. Robert Hintz or Robe Hintz or what I can't even pronounce that name. Rope Hintz, is that how you say it? Roop Hintz. I know it's Hintz is the last name, Roop Hintz, but they come out total domination. I mean, granted, and I don't know, Matt, because I don't know how it works in the soccer field, but I mean, let me ask you. You have a guy who Game 1 made 42 consecutive saves after he gave up so that they were down 2-1, they tied at 2-2, and he gave up 2 goals, Philip Gustafsson. Then after he gave up that second goal, he made 42 consecutive saves. Right? 42 consecutive saves, played on his head, unbelievable in overtime, basically keeping them in that game, and then obviously Minnesota got the win in overtime in Game 1. But the guy played on his head. And they start Fleury in Game 2, he gives up a goal in the first 5 minutes, and he gives up a goal 5 minutes later to Tyler Seguin, which, granted, it was a deflection, but, I mean, it probably could have been saved. And from there, I mean, Dallas kind of just runs away with it there. I mean, obviously Minnesota brings it back, makes it 4-3. It was 4-1, and then they make it 4-3, and then from there, the floodgates open. And, I mean, I don't understand how you don't start the guy who made 43 saves in a row, stood on his head, and kept you in that game. I don't understand how that happens. I mean, do you see that in the soccer field? Like, do they just take out guys who play unbelievable and say, sorry, screw you?
It's hard to compare, just because there's, they're not playing most of the time. They're not playing
every other
this close together.
Right.
Usually there's more than a day between games. That being said, you're usually not facing 40 something shots.
I mean, 42 saves, that's a big number.
Yeah, that's not the only thing I can say is from a coaching perspective, if there's something off, if you can tell there's something off in your guy, he might have played, wicked good that first game, and you want to play him again, but say he goes back and gets drunk, and then he shows up half an hour late to practice, and he's just not there.
Mm-hmm.
You don't start him. Because you don't know what he's going to do when he shows up in that game.
Right, yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I know some people were talking about it on Twitter, that they just couldn't believe that Gustafsson didn't get the start. I mean, I know they're trying to, get both guys in there. They've been swapping throughout the season. But, I mean, you're right. I feel like, Gustafsson finished the year 3-0. And then came into the playoffs, made 42 straight saves, kept them in that game. They win in overtime. I feel like you got to ride that guy. I'm sure I'd put my, everything on he starts Game 3 back in Minnesota. But it's unbelievable. Dallas going 50% of the power play. They went for 3 for 6. they're moving the puck well. Dallas, I mean, we said it. These two teams, I think this is going to be a battle of a series. You're going back to Minnesota now, the state of hockey, as they like to call it, and it's going to be an absolute grind up there. I cannot wait for Game 3. It's going to be a fun one to watch because let me tell you, Minnesota has to figure out how to play to the speed of Dallas. Dallas is quick. I'm watching these games and I'm watching Dallas play, and Dallas can transition and move the puck up the ice so fast. And I think Minnesota's having trouble keeping up with that pace because Dallas kind of just keeps it going throughout the whole game. And yeah, it was 2-2, and they won. And Gustafson, like I said, made 40 something saves and kept them in that game. But clearly, Fleury, couldn't keep that close, and it ended up being 7-3. You can't rely on Gustafson to make 50 something saves again. I mean, he had total he had 51 saves in game 1. You can't ask him to make 50 plus saves every game. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens in game 3 because Dallas is bringing it to Minnesota. But then again, who knows? We're switching to the state of hockey, so we'll see what happens. What you got anything left on this game here?
Yeah, I mean, I think another like going back to like the goalie thing is, they're riding that high of the win.
Right.
They've bagged their first win in the series, and I want to lead off with I don't think anybody expected Dallas to come out and do a seven goal game.
Right.
I just don't think anybody with him in net or not, I don't think they expected a 7. But you're right. I mean, he made 50 something saves. That takes a toll on a player.
Right.
I mean, anybody who's watching these goalies knows they're sprawling out.
Yeah.
And those pads aren't light, Like it takes a toll. So my thought could be, they're giving him a rest.
Mm-hmm.
They're riding the high of the win. They know they're gonna go back to Minnesota after this. Give their guy a rest. Give him a rest especially after he had such a big game. And like I said, I don't think anybody expected Dallas to come out and pull off 7 goals. You said it. They're fast and they can really pass the puck, but
yeah.
It's one of those things where I think yeah they have that ability, but I think tonight they just had a night.
Yeah.
I think, we saw it when they lost in OT. Like not a single one of them stuck around. They ran off that ice.
Yeah, they were like, God, let's get the fuck out
They
of here.
were defeated.
Right.
So I think they came out tonight and they had a chip on their shoulder. They had something to prove. And they showed up. I think it was just the perfect storm for them to pull off 7 goals. I don't think they do it again.
Yeah, I don't think they've scored 7 goals in Minnesota either. Minnesota's, like I said, it's a tough barn to play in. A lot of these playoff teams that are in the playoffs right now play in some tough atmospheres for visiting teams to come into, and Minnesota is one of those rare places where it's like, good luck, man, because that place is going to be rocking. They're going to be riding you all day. That goalie is going to be ridden. I feel bad for Jake Ottinger, man. He's going to have a long trip in St. Paul, bro, because they're going to ride his ass to the ground. Like, they'll be talking about Minnesota Gophers beating BU back in, like, 2019, bro. Like, they're going to bring up some old shit. They're going to be all over them, like Norwich. Kind of like Norwich student section riding the goalies. Like, it's going to be a tough barn to play in. So we'll see what happens. I don't think Dallas puts up a 7-goal effort in Minnesota either. I think they'll probably split in Minnesota as well. I think you're right. I think you had a perfect prediction. I could see this series going 7. Both these teams are dark horses. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch the rest of these series. So big game 3 coming Friday night in St. Paul in the state of hockey. So we'll be definitely checking that one out come Friday night. So lastly, we got Oilers Kings. Oilers take it 4-2 tonight. This was just a straight dogfight. I mean, the Oilers jump out quick 2-0 lead. McDavid with an assist. Nothing really too special. I mean, it wasn't quite the pass right through the stick of that defenseman there, right through the lane. Unbelievable pass to Draisaitl for the power play goal. We said it. You gotta 1-for-1. They won 1-for-1 on the power play. I mean, that's tough. I mean, it's tough for the Kings because it's like you did your job, you stayed out of the box, but the one penalty you took, they capitalized on it. That's the best power play in the league. 9 times out of 10, they're scoring on that power play. It's unbelievable. Like the way they move the puck, the talent they have on that power play, it's tough. So, you feel bad for the Kings there. But the Oilers capitalize on it to take a 2-0 lead, and then the Kings fight back, man. The Kings are making this series interesting. The Kings are bringing it to the Oilers, and they jump back. Philip Deneau, I said this is a guy to watch to tie up McDavid. He's also got a lot of offensive ability too. He's a good player, so he comes in. Kempe in there with an assist. Kempe is a huge player to watch in this series. So the Kings bring it back at him, and then this goal was a killer. In the third, beginning of the third period, 18 minutes left in the third, Kilm Costin. Kevin Weeks was talking about it on the broadcast. Shout out Kevin Weeks. They say that they call him Slim Costin, as in after Slim Shady. And this kid brought it, man. Unbelievable shot from the top of the circle, just a total snipe. Felt bad for the goalie. Used the defenseman as a screen from the top of the circle, and just unbelievable shot. Nothing really you could do. I think it was a 90-mile-per-hour wrist shot. Just went right by him. And then the Kings fought it out to the end, and then Evander came with the empty net. So this was a dogfight. I mean, this series is going to be a dogfight. No team is laying down here. McDavid's still without a goal. I think he had like 10 or 11 more goals than the second-place guy in the regular season. Has Dick here. No goals here from McDavid. So we'll see what happens for McDavid throughout the rest of the series. But this is a straight dogfight. I mean, there's really no way else to sum it up. This is going to be a hell of a series here. Matt, what do you got on this final game tonight?
One assist from this god of hockey.
McJesus is what they like to call him.
Yeah. Mick, suck my fucking cock, all right?
One apple.
I don't know why people aren't talking about Draisaitl. Dude,
Draisaitl is a beast too, and he's like kind of just floating under the radar. He's already got 3 goals in the series. He's on fire, and but everybody's waiting for this McDavid goal that still just hasn't come.
Yeah, I mean, little bit of bullshit right there. But I think this game, Oilers were definitely watching some film.
Yeah.
Definitely watching some film because they came back and it looked like the opposite of game 1. Oilers played their game and it looks like that playing their game LA by the end of it was just throwing hits.
Yeah.
They weren't playing to come back. They weren't playing to score. They were just throwing hits and being assholes.
An absolute another physical bash best here. I mean, another 112 total hits. Game 1 had 117 total hits. Game 2 had 112. So another absolute bash best, man. These guys love to throw the body and make each other hurt. I have to tell you, it's wildly entertaining watching in Edmonton, watching the boo every time Drew Doughty touches the puck. I don't know if you noticed that, dude, but the boos come raining down when Drew Doughty, NHL defenseman Drew Doughty, for the LA Kings, every time he touches the puck, it's just a straight boo fest. They're ruthless on this guy, man. It's crazy. The whole arena just shakes, but unreal, man. It's gonna be wild to see what. Now it shifts back to LA. Then again, I mean, you look at the stats here for tonight. The Kings went 0 for 4 in the power play. I mean, the other night, what were they, Matt? Were they 50% on the power play?
Well, yeah, they went 2. Both teams were 50%. They went 2 for 4 and 3 for 6.
Yeah, they were unbelievable in the power play in the first game, and obviously, they scored the OT winner and the tying goal on the power play. So going 0 for 4 in the power play is a tough look. I think you got a good enough team where you shouldn't be going 0 for 4 there. But I agree, man. I think the Oilers really brought it to him tonight. Kippersalo looked great for the Kings. Jonas Korpisalo looked great for the Kings still. Making some big saves. He was battling tough goals. Obviously, Draisaitl one timer on the power play, 9 times out of 10 that's going in. Like it's hard to find a goalie that's going to make that save. Derek Ryan's goal was a little grimy, little greasy there. But then and then the shot from Kilm, like the shot was unbelievable. So it's like, what are you gonna do? But overall, I thought it was a good game, good battle in the third period for sure. Going both sides. The Kings had some offensive zone pressure late in that third period, but overall, I think the Oilers really played well, played their game, played a fast-paced game. McDavid had a 2-minute shift at the end of the game. McDavid and Draisaitl jumping over the boards and having a 2-minute shift to end the game, and then Evander Kane getting the empty netter. So I mean, hey, it was a good night of hockey. Good battles in every game. I mean, I'm excited to see the game threes as they shift over. The visiting team gets a chance for home ice now. It's going to be fun to watch game threes come Friday night. So looking ahead here, we got the pregame show tomorrow at 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Eastern time for the pregame shows. Lightning and Leafs, must win for the Leafs. I emphasized this in the pregame show. I'm going to emphasize it again tonight. It's a must-watch, must-win for the Leafs at home in Toronto tomorrow. They have to figure it out. They have to figure it out here. You can't get embarrassed on home ice by the Lightning, get booed by your home crowd, and then come out and lay an egg tomorrow. So big night for the Leafs tomorrow. Must win. Devils, Rangers. The Devils, they look like shit in game one. Young, inexperienced team. Let's see what happens in game two. I think they're going to come out a lot better. I think they're going to finish checks. They're going to look a lot better, block some shots, hopefully, tie up the middle of the ice. Hopefully, Luke Hughes draws into the lineup tomorrow. I'm excited. Kraken and Avalanche. Avalanche, defending champs. The Kraken just looked better. Game one, they really brought it to the defending champs and said, here, hold my beer, and I'm going to work you. And then obviously the Jets and the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights need a better performance. The Jets offensive firepower turned it on, but the Golden Knights, they have a lot of firepower too, and they got to get it going here. So we have big night of hockey ahead of us tomorrow. Like I said, pregame show starts at 6 o'clock live here on the Chirp City Media channel. I appreciate everybody who's been hanging out with us in this NHL playoffs journey that we're going here. It's been an absolute grind, but we appreciate everybody who comes and watches and hangs out. Maddie, you got any final thoughts on any of these games tonight?
No, I mean, with the exception of tomorrow's games, right now the Carolina is the only one who has potential for a sweep.
Yeah. You think?
So
Yeah. I mean, Carolina. You think they steal both games on the island, or what do you think?
no, I still think the Islanders get one.
Yeah. I what did you say? Did you have the Canes in 5? I thought you did.
I had them in 6.
You had them in 6. Yeah, I could see the Islanders actually stealing both games on the island, and then obviously the Canes will win back in Raleigh, and then they'll steal the last game on the island, game 6. I could see that happening. I mean, the Islanders, they didn't play bad. It's not like I could come on the show and ride the Islanders and be like, they just look like asshole. It was tough. It was a hard fought battle, and then they just got hosed at the end. I mean, I really can't even say like, oh, I mean, they just got hosed. That missed call was just absolutely bananas. But I won't talk about it anymore. We'll talk about it tomorrow on the pregame show. We'll do a little recap with Willis and John and hopefully Chance, and we'll get the panel back on. I will talk a little bit about it tomorrow night, 6 p.m. on the Chirp City Media channel. Hope to see you all there. Appreciate you guys coming and hanging out with us tonight for the postgame show. Maddie, as always, my partner here, I appreciate you being on the show with us. And we will see you guys tomorrow for day 4 of the Stanley Cup playoffs.